Okay, up till now we had examples of OSPF protocol, and we created different areas. And I told you that there is another way to assign interfaces to OSPF process and areas. And that's this. For example, I go to router 4 and let's check the configuration. So run section router OSPF. And you can see that I have networks here. Yes, that's it. I have network commands here to add this. I want to remove this network command, for example, for this. So I go to configuration mode and router OSPF 1 and type in no, and this network is removed. So to add this interface again, I should go to interface mode configuration and add this IP OSPF, and the process number is 1, and then the area number, that is 24. And now you can see that this command is working exactly as the network command, but the difference between this command and the network command is this is easier to identify, and you assign interfaces explicitly. And this is the new fashion and better way to do the configuration. And of course, you can have different OSPF configuration that goes before this. So because my network is using network syntax, I want to go back to my previous configuration using router OSPF 1 and the network command here. And again, I have this type of configuration, and just remember that some switches do not support interface level OSPF configuration, and you have to go with network command again. Now I have some other issues here, and I want to talk about this. OSPF is done, and I want to talk about frame relay configuration in this section. Okay, we had some configuration on frame relay switch, and I want to show this to you. I just wanted 4 ports, and I did this configuration. Now I want to remove this and add some other logical configuration to my network. And to show this, I want to start with some design here. And let's see this. I have 4 routers in my network, and I want to color this with this, and I want to design it like this. And let's select this one and copy it using Control key, and I have 4 routers here. This is router 1. Let's rename this 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, I have 4 routers, and I want to create the frame relay network within this. So I have logically this kind of connections between these routers. I have every router connected to router 2. So router 2 is my hub, and other routers would be spokes of my network. And this is the case that I have central office, for example, in location 2, and I have some branches that are connected to my central office. Now I want to show you one case that only one interface of router 2 is connected to other routers. So I connect every router to just one interface of router 2. This is a logical connection. If you want to have the physical connection, you can see that you have different areas, different connections, for example, connected to a frame relay switch. And I'm not going to talk about frame relay switch configuration. I'm using a simple frame relay switch in DNS3, but in CCNP level commands, I will talk about configuration of a real router that is going to act as a frame relay switch. So we have this logical configuration here, and now that I have this, I want to configure router 2 and other routers to have, connectivity to each other. Now, we have some numbers that are called DLC numbers, and these numbers are locally significant again. So whatever number I add to one router side is not important for the other router side. Each router uses its own numbers. For example, if I want to assign numbers to the link between router 1 and router 2, I will, for example, assign number 102 to show that 1 is connecting to router 2. And if I want to show the same thing from router 2 side, I can assign 201. And that is the number that I assign to the side that router 2 is with. So this is not important what number you use, but I can of course use the same numbers. This doesn't, make any difference. But this kind of numbering will make, more sense, because I can easily understand that which side is connecting to which side. So I want to use 302 from this side to show that router 2 is connecting to router 3 is connecting to router 2 to this side. So this will be 203 to show that this side is for router 2 and connecting to router 3. So for router 4, I add 402, and on router 2 side, I will use 204. And now these are the DLC numbers that I use to create the frame relay connection between different routers, okay? Now I want to implement this in my case. So I go to GNS3. As I told you, I'm not going to configure a real frame relay switch. I'm just configuring frame relay switch that is emulated by GNS3. I add these connections. So I have port 2 connected to router 2. So I change this to 2. And port 201 connects to router 1. So this is 201. On router 1 side, that is port 1, I have 102. So I have port 2 from router 2 that is using 201 connected to port 1 from router 1 that is using 102. So I add this here, okay? Now, I add another thing. Port 2 from router 2 connects to router 3 that is using DLC 203. And again, on router 3, I have 302. So I add this too. I have port 2 connecting to router 4 to 204. So router 4 is going to use 402. So I add this again here. And now I remove other things here. I remove this and this and this. Now I have 4 ports. I apply this configuration again. I apply this several times and I click OK. And I save everything to my configuration to make sure that everything is there. Right click on frame relay switch to make sure that now it is working again. So I have different DLCs that come from router 2 with these DLC numbers and connect to other routers with these DLC numbers as well. So I have this. So okay. Let's go and start configuring interfaces on different routers. So I want to go with logical interface configuration. Now I have different options on router 2. I can connect one interface and every other router will connect to that interface, and every router will use the same subnet for this connection. So every router will be in the same subnet, and this means that I have 4, for example, IP addresses here that are all in just one subnet. This is the case that I need multi-point interface on router 2, and this is the case that I am saving IP addresses. I'm not using different subnets for different routers, and I will create connection between these routers easily. I have another option to use a multi-point subinterface, and that configuration is the same as this. The third option is I use a subinterface to connect to each router and put all those subinterfaces in different subnets. And I will show you these 3 configuration in the next section of my lessons.